Good morning. Let's go ahead and continue talking about your informative speech. First off, let's just say one thing. Slow down. Some of you have already, for reasons I don't understand, have already videoed your speech when we haven't even talked about the outline yet. Okay? Look at your course schedule, people. It's still a couple of weeks before your speeches will have to be due. I'm taking this slow. This is actually even a little slower than if we were in the classroom, because at least in the classroom, I have some face-to-face contact with you. So I'm not in a rush on this. Although I have to tell you, to be honest with you, I've been very impressed from the two summer sessions and even the persuasive speeches we had at the end of the spring semester that students were able to adapt to the online version of the speech, especially because one of the things that I'm not going to do, I might have talked about this before, is I'm not as other speech professors who have taught online in the past. And of course, everybody going into that speech knows they're going to be speaking online, know it's an online speech class. They already know that when they sign up, where of course a lot of you didn't. And they're required to have audience members in the room when they do. I'm not going to require that, especially because, as I've said before, and if I haven't, I'm saying it now, I do think this is the wave of the future. I do firmly believe that there is going to be a lot more virtual working, especially for professionals. Okay? You're going to college to be a leader, not to become a follower. And in professional positions, you can do your job this way, whereas if you were, a cab driver, you can't drive a cab on a computer. If you're in the wait staff at a restaurant, okay, you can't do that over the computer. But once you get your associate's or especially your bachelor's degree or more, and you're in a professional position, you're going to probably end up doing a lot more of this, because I am under the firm belief, and I've had discussions with business owners and business people in the private sector. Business owners and companies hate, as much as anything, leasing office space. And a lot of them, one of the things that they keep talking about on the news is how empty New York City is, that there's so few people in New York City because of the pandemic. Yet, work is being done. The economy is roaring. And roaring back, that is. Why? It's because so many people are able to work virtually. So when delivering speeches or giving presentations, you're going to end up doing a lot of this in the future. The way you're seeing me doing it right now. Okay? Got pictures right over my shoulder of my niece and nephew. Got some family up there. Got my wife's little TV in her office there. There's going to be a lot more of this. Okay? So one of the things you want to make sure you're doing is the camera. All right, you want to make sure you're focused on the camera, because whether you're in person or virtual, all right, people have to have that eye contact. They have to have that feel that you're talking directly to them. Okay, none of this like a lot of some of you are doing during your informal speech. No, you're looking up here. Don't look at your little square over here. You're looking right here. Okay, and you want to make sure that you're maintaining that eye contact. Now, of course, I also don't want you memorizing your speeches. I don't mind that you have what students have done, like I'm doing right now. I'm using a table or something like that, where you put your recording device on and you can have the speech outline right below you. And if you're looking down, referencing, and then coming back here, I have no problem, because I actually don't want you to memorize your speech. Not at all. So, all right, so let's get to your outline. Now, some of you have already written your outlines and have done, there are two in particular that were amazing. I mean, it was almost like, wow, I don't have to tell you anything about this. But you want to make sure you're getting everything that I'm looking for. Now, the reason why is you took the idea of taking a look at the three outlines that I sent you. One of the things that I do when we're face-to-face is when you walk into class after we start talking about public speaking, I have about 35 to 40 outlines from speeches going all the way back to 2001 up until this past spring semester. I think Morel, hers was from the spring. And these are ones that you can look at. You look at their topics, look at how they organized. But what's more, gives you an idea of how to organize it yourself. Because I could talk someone blue in the face. I'm a very, exciting guy, but I can also be very, stop shaking. But I can also be very boring. All right. But at least here, after I talk about it, you can see some of the ways that these three students organize their speech. And of course, we don't have 35 or 40 to download, but at least you have three of the best. And again, one goes all the way back to 2005. One was from the spring semester 2020. So it gives you an idea that no matter when it was delivered, you have a full content outline. Now, your full content outline is your speech word for word. But like I said, I'm not expecting you to be memorizing your speech. All right. Now, as you can see from the attachment, it gives you very good detail on how you organize your speeches, okay? What kind of techniques you may use in your attention gainer as part of your introduction. What kind of outline format you might use. Now, for this one, and it looked like in some of the specific purpose statements, some of you are going to go this way, and that, of course, is a... oh my God, I just completely blanked. Oh my God. Time arrangement format. That's what I'm thinking. Oh my God, I just blanked. A time arrangement format. A lot of you did have specific purpose statements where it looked like that's where you're going, is with a time arrangement format, where your first main point, and by the way, I really only want 2 main points. A 3 to 5 minute speech, you really can't go past 2 main points. But your first main point is kind of like some background or historical background about your current event. But then your second main point has to be the current element to your speech. Remember, it's still an international current event, but with a time arrangement format, I don't mind you giving some background. The topical format, both points are current. And then the spatial has to do with geographic location. I'll give you an example. Students will give speeches about where human trafficking still exists, and they'll give 2 regions of the world as their 2 main points, where the UN says there's still some heavy human trafficking. So that would be a spatial format. So I'm going to go ahead and end it right there because I don't want to say too much. I want you to take a look at the attachment where it does this, explain. I also, please, as some people already have and have done very well, get a look at those sample outlines. It really does help give you a good guideline on how to organize these speeches. Okay? And then what's going to happen is on Monday, we're going to have our Zoom meetings. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to try and organize probably twice during the day on Monday where I'll be available for about an hour. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to send out the invites to all 5 classes. And you can join in whenever you have a possibility. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. The Zoom, or excuse me, I'm not Zoom, WebEx. Duh. The WebEx meeting is not required. But what I'm doing here is I'm giving you an opportunity live with me as we get closer to putting these speeches together and you deliver them, gives you an opportunity to talk with me. Okay? You can ask me any question directly. I know a lot of times you can read what I write or you can watch these videos, but if you don't have the opportunity to ask me a question. So I'm going to probably try to do something at like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and something at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? Now, I know some of you do work, but again, this is not required. All right? I would just try to get in when you can. All right? So start putting those outlines together. Okay? It's a full content outline, but remember, I don't want you memorizing your speech. And I will see some of you, hopefully I'll see a lot of you on Monday.